Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And we got some people in here. Okay, I see y'all. You're coming in here. You trying to get out of that tropical depression, Ida? Is it Ida or Ida?
Ida, I believe.
Ida, yes. Okay, we got our man Derek Weatherly in the house. What's going on, LBHT fan? Thank you for coming through. Yes. All right. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well. But if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. You guys know what day it is, man. You guys have been waiting for this day. Okay. We almost called this show the crochet day, crochet show. Okay. Tony Hendo, what's going on? Thanks for coming through.
What's up,
we got our man Noah Driscoll. What's going on, Noah? LBHT crew, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's have us a great show. Yes, sir. Raven Ron, what's going on? That's all I'm talking about, Jay Will. That's all I'm talking about, Jay Will. Crochet season. Hey, look, no hate over here. Congrats to Crochet. He worked his butt off. You know, Yazar, what's going on? And he earned a spot on the 53-man roster. Congrats to him. We definitely going to give him his love tonight. All right. So, Eric L, what's going on? Thanks for coming through.
What's going on, Eric?
No, you know, Eric, you're the big timer, sir. You're the big timer. Okay. Thanks for coming through. King of Pugo, what's going on?
What's going on,
King? Yeah. We're going to have a show tonight. King of Pugo is here. That's what I'm talking about, man. So, yes, we're going to discuss the Ravens roster. We're going to discuss the Panthers 53-man roster. And we're going to discuss one Cam Newton and a shocking, if you will, cut from the New England Patriots. And if we get to it, we have some time, we'll discuss Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. They had a fight this weekend. So we'll go over that. And we're going to have a different take on that fight, a little different take on it than what you'll hear from other places. So stay tuned for that. But first, even before, hold on, before we get to your Black History fact, if you're new here, be sure to hit that like button. Everybody's in here now. Make sure you hit that like button. Also subscribe if you're new. And make sure you follow us on our social medias right above the Patreon. We got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I posted a couple of things on TikTok. All right. At LBHT Show. That's where you can follow us. And right below that is the patreon.com/LBHT Show. Make sure you sign up if you want to support the show. All right.
What's going on, Just Aloe?
Just Aloe. What's up? Garnett West is in the house.
What's going on, Garnett?
Yeah.
Day. I heard it was Chris Westry Day.
Chris Westry made the team too. Okay. Oh man.
Ron says Crochet is still trash. Will be cut when David are back.
Whoa, man. We got Show him this.
What's going on, DT Viz?
DT Viz, yes. Crochet 53-man roster. Oh, it's just the beginning. Look. Yes, you guys are right. We were wrong. We're wrong. We missed that. But you guys aren't. You guys are forgetting a name. You guys, you got one right, but you got one wrong. I haven't seen anybody say his name yet. No. Somebody said it. Said it.
Yeah, Raven Ron said it.
Raven Ron said it.
He said Crochet trash.
No. Boykin is back. The
second half back.
Yeah, Boykin is back. You guys didn't get Boykin right.
What's going on, Brandon? Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Brandon? Thanks for coming through. Emphasis is in the house. What's going on, Emphasis? He said these guys are turning me into Crochet's believers now. Randy Moss, who? Okay. Oh, snap. All right. So we're going to get the show started. But first, we got a Black History fact for you. B is going to read it to you.
Yeah. So I'll just make it real quick. And want to talk about the story of Henry Box Brown, Box being his nickname, not his actual middle name. He was a slave born in Virginia in the early 1800s. Now, he got married. He had a few kids. His wife and their children lived on an adjacent plantation. And one day he got word that she was being sold to another plantation down in North Carolina. So obviously a terrible day for Henry and his wife and his kids. Because there wasn't really anything he could do about it. He kind of just had to stand and watch as there was almost a march of a few hundred slaves who were being moved, basically. They say he went into a little bit of a depression. He was mourning for a few months, and then he decided he didn't want to be a slave no more. So he came up with a way to run away, essentially. He was a member of a choir. There was a free black man in that choir as well. So he made his acquaintance, and that other black man kind of got in touch with a white sympathizer, and they put together a plan, and they threw our man Henry into a box, and they nailed it shut. They, tied some rope around it, and they wrote dry goods on it. And they just, put a hole in it for air, and they shipped him to Philly. He said it was a 27-hour journey. He was on boat, on carriage. They were moving him around a lot. He said at one point, the box was actually standing up, so he was inside the box upside down, had the blood rush into his head, felt like he was going to die. He said the only thing that kind of saved him was a couple of people who were transporting him were trying to sit down and like play cards or whatever, and they threw the box down and sat on the box, so he was fine then. He got to Philly, he got out, and there was a big debate about whether or not they should tell anybody what he had done. Frederick Douglass was saying, no, keep it a secret so other people could do it, right? And there were some other members of the abolitionist movement who said, no, we should tell people, it's a great story, and it could win people over to our side. Henry was on the side of publicizing it, and he kind of made a career out of that. He was going around speaking and everything. And then in 1850, the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, which kind of let people go into states where slavery was outlawed and capture runaway slaves and take them back. And Henry said, I'm not here for that. He hopped on a boat and he went to England.
That's what I'm talking about.
And once he was in England, he was on the, in the abolition.
They called him Boat Henry after that.
Right. He was very active, but then he started getting criticized because he was making some money, and they said he wasn't trying hard enough to buy back his wife and children out of slavery. Right. And Henry said later for that, I'm done with the abolitionists. And he turned to show business in England and spent essentially the rest of his life touring as like a magician. He eventually came back to the U.S. and was doing shows in the U.S. and Canada. So it's just a really interesting story. If you want to learn more about Henry, again, you can just Google Henry Box Brown.
Yeah. It's sad, right? He wasn't able to, he was able, he just didn't buy his family's freedom. My man said,
he got married again.
Yeah, but I say he said, I'll get another family. I ain't like him that much. That was a great Black History fact, man. I like that one a lot. But man, you guys know why we're here. We're not even gonna make you wait this time. We're gonna do the Ravens one first, and then we'll do the Panthers one, and then we'll get into some Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Ravens 53-man roster, and you guys want to start it out with some Prochet talk. Oh man, Sterling's here. What's up, Sterling? Coach Absolutely, J Mac.
Coach, every week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What's going on, Sterling?
Yeah,
kind of try a little bit.
He's a hero of contrast, right?
Listen, Henry, he didn't have anything for himself for the first 33 years of his life. All right, Henry was living.
He wanted to experience some of the finer things. Yeah. Marquise Wells, what's going on? Thank you for joining the live stream. He says Prochet, Duvernay, and Wallace in a great situation. These are opportunities you take advantage of. No excuses. Mm-hmm. That's true. All right. So, let's start it there, man. There weren't that many surprises, right? No, I didn't expect Prochet to make the team, but it's not surprising they made the team. What was surprising was we kept 7 wide receivers. That was surprising.
Yeah, that because we expected them to keep 6 and keep Boykin over Prochet, and they said we'll keep 7. Just Alice, he's a Boykin truther now. All right.
Now, yes, while we got Prochet wrong, we were not wrong about Boykin. We've been telling you guys Boykin's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He was a 3rd-round pick. He's been starting for the last 2 years, and they love him for his blocking. Yeah. He's one of the better, if not probably the best blocking wide receiver on the team. They love him for that, and they're going to hold on to him. They value blocking more than anything on this team. So no, he didn't have to. He didn't have to show up to training camp.
That's what Just Al saying. So secure, he didn't have to practice.
Yeah. He didn't have to. They put him on the IR along with Bateman, and we're going to discuss that too. They'll both be eligible to come back after 3 weeks. I think both of them will come back, and then we'll discuss who's going to stick around, who's going to get cut after that. They really like Josh Oliver. Yeah, Josh Oliver made the team. In fact, look, let's I got a graphic here. Let me find it, and we can discuss.
King, you should not be surprised by that, man. They love them some Miles.
Yeah. All right. So we have here are the cuts. Victor better than Boykin. I like Benjamin Victor. That was somebody I was secretly rooting for, and he had a good training camp in preseason.
Yeah.
But here's who's released: Adrian Ely, Anthony Levine, Cole Cap.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't really surprising, but
he may be back. Him, Pernell McPhee, Justin, and McPhee for sure are the guys who they cut to make room for other people.
Yes.
The one kind of surprise here, I think, is Nigel Warrior. There was a lot of talk that they were really trying to get him onto the 53-man roster, and today we found out that he did not clear waivers. He is going to Seattle.
Yeah, the Seahawks. Oh man, like that's one of those guys. It is what it is, right? We're talking about the bottom of the roster. We see guys with potential, like Sean Wade. We saw the potential in him, what he could be, but the reality is these are guys that haven't proven anything in the league yet. And I mean, you can't shake up your roster for guys with potential, right? Yeah. So Eric Thomason was released, but he got brought back today, right? I think they already brought him back.
Yeah, is it Poljan or Poljan, the tight end? He came back. McSorley came back. They lost McCrary to Denver, so he's gone. Ben Mason, I don't want to say they lost him, but he is also gone. He went and signed with New England. On the practice squad, and they're kind of expecting him to be brought up to the 53-man roster pretty quickly. So yeah, like I said, no real big surprise. Ben Bredesen traded to the Giants. Bredesen a 5th and a 7th for a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
So nothing major going on in there. I was a bit surprised at Justin Ellis being cut, just because there's not a ton of depth there, but Justin Ellis isn't good, so not super surprising. Yeah. A guy, living legend.
What's up, man? Living? What's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. Dre the Great. He said most underrated podcast. I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Dre.
Thank you. Yeah. Like you said, it weren't too many surprises. A couple. Some people were surprised by Trace McSorley getting cut, but look,
I'm surprised they brought him back. For what?
I can understand why they're surprised, because last year we kept 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Yeah. But man, if you have a good draft and there's a lot of people that you like, you can't keep everybody. Somebody's got to get cut.
Yeah. And especially in Baltimore, where they constantly are adding draft picks. They're constantly stacking up on draft picks. They never have just 7. So even if you miss on picks, you're going to have more.
Shug,
guys.
You heard the man, Shug. Underrated. You heard him.
That's right.
Oh, he said the greatest podcast.
That's right, Shug.
That's why we're underrated. Okay.
But yeah, so I'm the biggest surprise for me. I mean, I hate to even call it a big surprise, but I kind of thought Jalen Ferguson was going to get cut. But Jay Ferg is back. Sack Daddy lives another day.
Sack Daddy is back. You guys are down him. I'm telling you right now. Sack Daddy breakout year. Watch those 7 sacks coming. Man. 7 sacks coming.
That man gets 7 sacks. They better give him Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, like Sack Daddy, a breakout is like 3.5. 4.
But I told you, I think they like the progression that he's made from last year. No, man, I think no. I don't think he's going to be a great player or anything like that. But I think he's going to be a solid player. I think he's going to have a solid year. And that would be great for the defense. See, the thing is, if he plays solid, Justin Houston plays solid, McPhee, Tyus Bowser, if they all 7 sacks or 7 snacks, he might get double digits on snacks. All we need is solid play from our edge rushers. That's it. Yeah. If we get solid play, they don't make huge mistakes, our defense is going to be great. Because our secondary is a lockdown secondary. We have a good linebacking core. We have a good interior D line. So the edge rushers don't need to be great. That's why I was saying don't fight us on Justin Houston. We didn't say Justin Houston was going to be whack. We just said don't expect 2014 Justin Houston.
Yeah,
that's all.
Pretty much. And I think they will get that kind of good production out of the front 7. Yeah, I don't want to say that they've upgraded because Judon is a very good player. Ngakoue is a good player, even though he didn't quite fit there. So I don't think they've upgraded talent wise, but I think they they've got some nice depth there. They'll get what they need out of the front seven. The one thing that I was a little bit surprised about, and we didn't mention it there, was that the Ravens brought in Josh Bynes.
Yes.
I
don't think, is it official? Did they officially bring him?
I believe that he is going to be. I think he's signed to their practice squad. I'm not sure if it's official today or if it's going to be official tomorrow, but he is coming back. And it's a surprise for me because I kind of thought maybe he would make it in Carolina.
Yeah.
After they traded Denzel Perryman, but that's fine. And in Baltimore, obviously with LJ Ford tearing his ACL, they needed some depth there. They don't have much of anything behind Queen and Harrison.
Yeah, and Olaka is on injury reserve as well, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are a little thin there, but look, they know what they're doing at linebacker. I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal, but obviously they wanted to have somebody out there that they felt they could rely on just in case.
All right, ABC Dev has a hot take. B. Moore is grooming Huntley to take over as starter after this year, so they can avoid paying Lamar. No,
man.
No.
Listen, if they are grooming Huntley to take over for Lamar, this is the worst coach GM combo in the history of the NFL.
Listen, the only coach that's able to do something like that, possibly, is Bill Belichick. All right, and we're going to be talking about him later on, him cutting Cam. But if they cut Lamar in favor for Huntley, who's not as good as Lamar, instantly fired. This would be a remember the Titans type of situation where you can't lose any week or you're fired.
That's one of those situations where if I'm the owner, I'm firing you even for bringing that up.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to happen.
Now, grooming him for a trade, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially. Speaking of trade, Ben Bredesen was traded for a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, Bredesen, fifth and a 7th. And while, okay, I'm fine with it. I don't think this is one of those things where we should be jumping up and down and giving Eric DeCosta his flowers and saying, "Oh man, EDC did it again." No, I mean, what did he do? He missed on another pick, and we had to give up some extra picks to get that pick back.
Yeah, the it in this scenario is not a good thing. He missed on another 4th round pick. Credit where it's due for getting that 4th round pick back. That's fine. Yes. Yeah. I mean, don't care at all about 7th round picks. And a 4th is better than a 5th, obviously. Yes. Right. And Bredesen was worthless because he was, not, as a person, but he was worthless for Baltimore because he wasn't making the team. Right.
Right.
So, him in that trade, you just kind of cancel it out. So essentially you traded a 5th for a 4th. So that's cool. But if you're just going to hold on to those picks and pick mediocre players and then try to trade them off like Bredesen and like Sean Wade, at some point, just stop, right? It's more valuable to package up those picks and move up in the draft and get a more talented player who's going to stick than to just use the picks on these guys who aren't going to make the team. Case in point, Ben Mason out of Michigan.
Yeah.
Why? We said it at the time, it was a terrible pick. There was no chance he was ever going to make this team. Right. Ever. So why did you draft him? You had other needs.
Yeah, I mean, and every team does that to a certain extent, man. Like we're gonna be talking about the Panthers here in a minute. They got a long snapper. You know what I'm saying? And he made
the team. All right.
He's on IR for a hip. Yeah. He has a hip situation. No, you made the wrong choice there. You shouldn't have impingement. Yeah. that he suffered during the Ravens game, but somehow he was able to play through it, and then got put him on IR. So you put the beat.
Hang on, just 1 second. We did get a donation from my guy Shug. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Shug.
He said, just wanted to support the best sports podcast on YouTube. My question is for Brodny. How great is Sam Darnold? Also, is combat sports, MMA, boxing, etc., dying because of this cross-promotion fights, Mayweather versus McGregor?
We're actually going to talk about that, Shug. We're going to talk about that at the
I'm going to ignore your first question, and we are going to get to that second question a little bit later in the show.
Yeah. So, before you answer, you're gonna answer the Darnold question. Can you put that link to the Streamlabs again?
I did.
Well, can you do it again? Do it one more time, because there's a lot of comments in here. I can't get to everybody's comments, guys. I'm gonna take a second to say we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Hit that like button. And if you're looking to have a highlighted comment, like a super chat, we don't do super chats here, but there are two ways you can get a highlighted comment. One is above B on Cash App.
And speaking of, we did get a Cash App just now, an anonymous Cash App, and it just says "for marvelous work, brothers." Thank you.
Appreciate
so
you,
much.
man. Thank you. So that's one way right there, right? We'll read it on air, and you can do the Streamlabs as well, and like Suge just did, and we'll also read it on there that way. Pretty soon we'll have some graphics for at least the Streamlabs. I'm not sure about Cash App. Yeah. All right. So Sam Darnold.
All right, on a scale of 0 to 10. I'm gonna be exceedingly fair here, okay? Because Sam Darnold has been awful for 3 straight years, but they did play Pittsburgh. He played, about a half, I believe it was. So he got some extensive work, and he did look good. He had a good night. So I'm gonna say Sam Darnold, 2021, D+ until proven otherwise.
Okay.
That's a massive improvement from what I would have told you a couple weeks ago. So
yeah. And shout out to Davon. He's in the house. Appreciate you coming through.
What's up, Davon? What's going on, Mikey?
Mikey's in the house. Off the Record podcast. Make sure you subscribe to them. Subscribe to our guy Ferris on the Let's Get Ready Network. Also, Suge Knight 323. He's on Twitch, so he's a good follow as well. He's a good guy, even though he's a Steelers fan. All right, and Ferris is a Giants fan. Well, whatever, They're fans of sports, and they're good follows, man. So check them out. All right, did we cover everything for the Ravens?
I believe so.
Well, hold on.
Anything else going on there?
Shout out to Adit here. I want to read his comment. Interestingly, they drafted Juszczyk in the 4th round when they had Vontae Leach and kept both in 2013. They also had 2 fullbacks in 2008. Looks like the strategies that they have will continue to use. Yes, but Vontae was in his last year.
That was a long time ago, indeed. Like it's that it ain't that way no more.
And also they drafted Juszczyk because he was more of a receiving type of fullback. Vontae was just a strictly blocker, right? And they were talking about getting away from those type of fullbacks because they're gone now, essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't think the plan is to have 2 fullbacks ever. I think they have one that they want to group. Now maybe it's one of those things where they're looking at it and they're like, we're not going to keep paying. Why am I forgetting his name? My camera's messing up. But maybe they thought they can get cheaper and younger with Ben Mason, but
that's not what Baltimore does. So Ben Mason is now a New England Patriot. Speaking of the fullbacks, they're out there to block, to open up holes for the run game. And in Baltimore, J.K. Dobbins out for the year. They've got Gus Edwards ready to step up and take on that lead role for this season. Tyson Williams, he played really well throughout the preseason, and it looks like they may be ready to just give him the number 2 job there. Yeah. I did want to point out that our guy Deshaun, I'm not sure if he's in here right now, but he did write an article for our site, LBHTshow.com, talking about the Ravens' options in the backfield and what he thinks is going to happen there. So definitely check out the website, give that a read, leave a comment, see what you think there.
That's right, guys. LBHTshow.com. All right. Support our man Deshaun. He wrote a dope article on there. So check it out. Okay. Was there anything else? I thought I was gonna bring up something else. I can't remember. I'm getting old, guys. Coach J Mac, hold on. He said Brodny, the Panthers head coach, designed some good wide receiver combination routes for quick release, and Darnold has a strong arm.
He does have a strong arm. What he also has is an inaccurate arm and happy feet and a bad brain. He makes bad decisions. He's an inaccurate passer. And their O-line isn't great. They tried to bring in some help via the waiver wire today, so we'll see. If they can protect him, the offense can be really good, but that remains to be seen. Not holding my breath for that.
All right, we're about to transition to the Panthers right now. Just want to read a couple more comments. Zico Kage, what's going on? Thanks for coming through.
What's up, Zeke?
We got a man, Attitude Pop. Thanks for coming through, Attitude Pop. Can y'all tell me how Victor had 5 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown and had a great camp, but somehow Boykin made the team? Because Boykin is a better wide receiver.
Yeah.
And Boykin was a 3rd-round pick.
And Boykin can block.
And Boykin can block.
And he's the only guy in Baltimore with any kind of size.
This is preseason. This is preseason. And you're talking about a game. I was at the game, by the way. If you follow us at LBHT Show, I posted a couple of clips from the game. But Gus gonna show y'all this year. Okay, King of Pugo. We'll circle back around to Gus. We'll have the Gus talk. Okay. But I mean, yes, they look good against other guys that are going to get cut or have been cut, I should say. Right? Like that's not really anything. Like it's nice. And I was rooting for him, but you can only keep but so many wide receivers. And the guys like who would you take out? Like Boykin, you're not taking out Boykin. Okay, Boykin has gotten those touchdowns against starting corners
in games that matter.
Yes, yeah. Donnie Skills, what's going on? He said, didn't they release Pernell McPhee? Yes, but I'm not sure if they brought him back yet, but the plan is to re-sign him.
Yeah, they're just waiting to officially put Bateman and Boykin onto IR, and they're going to bring a couple of those guys back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get over to the Panthers. We're going to get back to that Gus Edwards talk in a second. King of Pugo, don't you go anywhere. All right, Panthers 53-man roster. Now I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for the graphics. You had some nice graphics for the Ravens, okay, and the Panthers media they're just not on it. The Panthers website is just not on it. So I had to screenshot their cuts.
I don't know, Z. I do not know.
Why is Ferguson on team? Because look, he's Sack Daddy. That's why. Okay, and you're gonna put some respect on Sack Daddy's name this year. You'll see.
So we're looking here. Not a lot of surprises here. But some players that we liked. Will Greer's not one of them. Let me skip on past Will Greer. I liked Reggie Bonifant. I was kind of hoping that he would get another shot there. Omar Bayless as well. Carolina's pretty deep at wide receiver.
He did come back for a practice squad though.
Yeah. Christian Miller, outside linebacker, the edge rusher. He hasn't performed since he's been there, and they are very, very deep in the front seven. So I wasn't surprised necessarily, but he's a guy who I think, he has the ability. If anybody on this list, I think he's the one who has the ability to kind of make a name for himself elsewhere. He actually got picked up by Pittsburgh. So yeah, and if anybody can mold an edge rusher, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm rooting for Christian. I hope he does well over there. Like I said, Josh Bynes, I was a little bit surprised by Josh Bynes getting cut just because I thought, after they traded Perryman that he might stick. Will Greer was one of the worst picks ever. Glad he's gone. Wish you well. He was picked up by Dallas on waivers today, so he looks like he may end up being the backup to Dak.
Yeah.
But just an awful, awful, awful pick. Just terrible.
Yeah. Same thing with the Panthers. Not a lot of surprises here. I thought Christian Miller would make the team, especially after you traded Denzel Perryman. Like you guys, and they waived Josh Bynes.
Well, you got to remember, like he's mainly an edge rusher, and they did trade for another edge right before cutdowns from Buffalo, a guy who's going to play on special teams. So that kind of just squeezed him out. They have a lot of guys there. And he came in right around the same time as what's up, King Bird?
What's up?
He came in right around the same time as Marquise Haynes, and Marquise, he outperformed him this offseason.
Yeah, that's true.
Marquise got to stay, and Christian had to go. But yeah, like I said, I think one of the biggest surprises, they kept 5 tight ends. And technically it's only 4. One of the guys are transitioning to fullback, but I would expect some movement there. Today they cut David Moore, the wide receiver that they had signed from who played previously with Seattle. Yeah. And I would expect some movement on the tight ends, but again, not a lot of of surprises there. They picked up Michael Jordan off waivers today, the guard from Cincinnati.
That was actually somebody I was looking for the Ravens to kind of keep an eye on. Yeah. Not a great player, but he started 19 games over the last 2 years. So he's got some experience.
So Carolina trying desperately to patch up the holes in the O-line a week and a half before the season starts instead of doing it in free agency in the draft. So that's awesome. But like I said, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. They've got a couple of young players that they like, and hopefully they can step up and protect Sam.
If Michael Jordan comes in and beats out Pat Eiflin out the gate, that is going to be a problem.
He better be ahead of Pat Eiflin. Like, that guy's awful. He should not be.
He's been there the whole camp, and a guy that got cut just comes off the street and beats you. No, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign.
Kingbird, we did mention that Josh Bynes got signed by Baltimore to the practice squad. So we'll see, if they're bringing him up. I imagine he's there just as injury insurance for the most part for right now.
Yeah, Add to Pop says, my prediction for Sam Darnold is 33 Get out of here.
Wow.
Get out of here with that. I'm not 33 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Based off of what? Get out of here.
Going from one of the worst quarterbacks in the league to one of the best, huh? Okay. Taking big swings attitude.
He said, remember, Joe Brady's the one who made Joe Burrow someone who couldn't make the Ohio team.
Also, remember that Joe Brady could not do anything with Teddy Bridgewater, a legit NFL quarterback.
Yes. Who went to Denver and took that starting position immediately.
Yeah.
Teddy Bridgewater's going to have a better year than Sam Darnold.
I think probably. Denver's got the O-line. They've got some nice wide receivers over there as well. And always rooting for Teddy. Love Teddy.
Yeah.
Teddy's great.
Yeah. We're not rooting against Darnold, but I mean, look, if you don't show us anything, how can we say you're going to be great? You haven't shown us anything in 3 years.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I can't say that you're gonna be great this year just because you went to a different team. Nah, man. Right. With a worse O-line. A worse O-line than the Jets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know, Mikey. You said he said Sam Darnold's gonna have a good year too.
Well, that's not difficult, Mikey. I mean, that's he could have a career year and still be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
That is true.
His career has not been impressive.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to cover for the Panthers?
No, I don't think so right now. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of surprises there. I want to wait and see what they're doing with the roster over the next couple of days. To really kind of get an idea where their head's at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna do some follow-up videos on both Panthers and Ravens, giving you our official predictions for the start of the season. We did a early and reckless prediction right after the draft, and we're gonna do one right before the season starts. So be on the lookout for that.
Kingbird saying you need a new right tackle now. Yeah, that's been the case for a little while.
Yeah.
Villanueva not an inspiring choice to replace Orlando Brown.
Yeah. All right. So next I want to discuss some Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. I want to get back to King of Pugo. We'll discuss a little Gus Edwards. Maybe we'll get that in the bonus time. We'll see. We want to discuss Cam Newton. We want to discuss Jake Paul. Okay, we got a lot to discuss. But real quick, okay. We got 29 people in here. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers, man. Thank you guys so much for your support. We are a lot further along than we thought we would be at this time. So thank you very much, man. Let's make a push. We're pushing. We haven't really set any deadlines. Cheer up, Brodny. Sam Darnold's going to get mono shingles or something. Oh, wow.
I'm not rooting for that, just Aloe. All right. I'm not going to be upset, though.
But make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, man. Also, follow us. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at LBHT Show. Okay, we're trying to get a little bit more active on those areas. Follow us. We appreciate your support. We're getting better and better at posting. Mm-hmm. So, yes, follow us there. And right above me, patreon.com LBHT Show. Okay, that's if you want support. You got $3 in your pocket. You got $3 in your pocket. That's a good way to support. $3 to $10. $10 even better. Okay, we got some goodies for both tiers. B, tell them about the $3 tier and the $10 tier.
For the $3 tier, you're going to get access to the overtime show that we do every Wednesday following this show. It's kind of a free for all. Anything you guys want to talk about, we talk about in there. It's a lot of fun every week. You're also going to get entrance into our NFL Survivor pool, and that's a league where you're going to make a pick a week. You're going to pick one team every week. If your team wins, you move on. If they lose, you're out. You can only pick a team one time, and the last person standing is going to get a nice LBHT trophy in the mail. For the $10 tier, that gets you for a limited time, again, our founder coin and entrance into our fantasy football league every year.
This year is full.
It's full for this year. But moving forward as well, you'll be getting into the fantasy football league. It's going to get you an on-screen invite into the overtime show. You can join the stream and chat with us. It also allows you to request content if there's any articles or videos on particular topics that you want to see.
Yeah. And we had our first annual LCFL fantasy draft last weekend. And they're hyped about it. You don't have the belt on you, do you? I want to show.
I do not.
Okay, that's right. Maybe next time we'll show off the belt. But it's a nice belt. Yeah. These guys want that belt. All right. We got Jose Verduzco's even in the league. He wants the belt. All right. It's going to be competitive. It was pretty fun. So next year, make sure you guys sign up, and maybe we'll get 2 leagues going. We'll see. Maybe 3. Shug said TikTok. Who's on TikTok? Well, you're on TikTok, Shug. TikTok. Shug is also a good follow on TikTok. He's posting, I think, every day. Every day on TikTok. But yes, we are now on TikTok. We have 2 posts. We're on TikTok. You followed us. I saw you.
So say you heard there's a $60 tier just for you, Shug. Or $50 tier.
Just $50 tier. Just for Shug. We call it the Shug tier.
Yeah. Coach wants to know about the Picks champ. We're not going to talk about that.
You want to know who the Picks champ is, Coach? I'll show you the Picks champ is. That man right there. Look at that. Look at that trophy. That sweet, sweet trophy. Okay. Man, look, he blew us out the water. All right. Yeah. He destroyed us.
Garner, I don't have your belt, but I'm sure you can Google ways to keep whatever kind of belt you have clean. The championship belt is going to be staying home.
All right. So that's one way to support. Another way, like we mentioned earlier, Cash App right above B, $ LBHT Show. All right. The pin comment that you see in your comment, that's our Streamlabs. Those are 2 ways you can have a highlighted comment. You make a donation and we will read it on air. What are you laughing at, B?
And Tony giving us the nice transition, saying Jose Verduzco does not want the belt. He took Gus in round 2. So yeah, I mean, we can talk about Gus a little bit, right?
Okay, we can do it. Let's talk some Gus. Let's talk some Gus real quick, just for you guys. Okay.
Yeah. So J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately, we all know he tore his ACL against Washington. It looks like Baltimore is ready to go into at least the first game, just with Gus Edwards, Tyson Williams, and Justice Hill at running back, which would mean we would think that Gus is going to get the lion's share of carries there. So how do you think that's going to go?
Well, before I answer, I want you guys, especially King of Pugo, type your answer. Put a number on it, King of Pugo. What are you predicting Gus Edwards to do this year? Put a number on it. How many yards? How many touchdowns? Since he's the man that he's going to show us what he can do. And I saw your question earlier in the chat. He wants to know who's going to have more rushing yards, Lamar or Gus Edwards.
Lamar.
It's going to be Lamar. It's not even going to be close. And Lamar's not even going to have as many yards as he's had in the past. He's not going to have 1,000 yards rushing. I think it's going to be around 7. Hopefully, I would like it to be less, but I think it's probably going to be around 700 yards for Lamar, and that's going to be more than Gus Edwards.
He says he's not. Just Al says he's not sure about Gus as a feature back. Coach says 10 touchdowns. Okay. Brandon saying 750 yards, 4
touchdowns.
Okay. Emphasis: Gus is doing 850.
Okay. 100. 100 touchdowns,
100 yards. I don't understand. You gotta give us some context there. I'm hoping you just left off a zero and you mean 1,000. For Gus, it's gonna be there's two major factors for Gus. It's gonna be the O-line first off, right? Because Gus
99.5 8 touchdowns. Okay.
Gus is not he's not the kind of back who's going to overcome a bad O-line.
Right.
And Garnett, no way in hell. But anyway, he's not the type who's going to overcome a bad offensive line. So if the O-line can't get it together, that's really going to hit Gus hard. The other thing is Tyson Williams. If Tyson comes in and shows, that he can play in real games, then I think they're going to try to go back to the same kind of, split carries that they've been doing the last couple of years. Gus hasn't even had 150 carries in a season yet. So I think if Tyson shows he can play, they'll try to keep him, try to keep his carries down around that same 140 number where he's been. But if Tyson shows that he's not up to the task, then I would expect, Gus's carries obviously to go way up, and he should be able to hit 1,000 yards. I'm a big believer in Tyson Williams, so I'm going to say, they both have, around 150, 160 carries, and I'm going to say Gus finishes about 850 yards.
Okay. I was just about to ask you, King and Pugo, like put a number on it. Don't say over 1,000 easily. You say maybe 1,200 yards. That is not happening. But since you made a bold prediction, just like Living Legend, just like you can hold us to it. If he hits 1,200 yards, you get a free LBHT t-shirt, my man. I even let you pick it. Okay. So Living Legend
and 10 touchdowns.
Whoo! 10 total touchdowns. He's at 10 total touchdowns. I think he can get 10 total touchdowns. I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I think he can get 10 total touchdowns. 1,200 yards. He ain't getting 1,200 total yards. Okay, but if he does, all right, you can hold me to it. You a shirt of your choice from our store, and you can purchase some merch at lbhtshow.com/shop. Okay, mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. So we got two bets going on. One with a Pugo and one with Living Legend. All right. That's not happening, man. They already said it's going to be a running back by committee. Running back by committee. There's only been one duo that's ever had two running backs, and that was for the Panthers.
Yeah,
that was for the Panthers. That's the only time it's ever happened.
Garnett saying if Edwards is getting over 700 on split carries and not even the main back, I just don't see how 1,000 is out of the question. 1,000's not out of the question. He could absolutely hit 1,000 if he gets enough carries. What's out of the question is you saying he's going to get nearly 400 receiving yards when for his career so far he has 194. He's not a receiver.
Well, I'll tell you why it's out of the question. It's out of the question because he's not splitting carries with just another running back. He's splitting carries with the leading rusher for your team, for our team, the quarterback, Lamar Jackson. That's why he's not going to get that. All right. Lamar's led the team for the last 2 years, correct?
Yeah.
The last 2 years.
Actually, I think all 3 years.
Yeah. So, and Lamar's just gotten just over 1,000. So he's not getting more than Lamar. I would want one of these running backs to get more than Lamar. I don't want them to run him as much, but I think they're going to keep running him. So no, I don't see 1,100. I don't see 12. I don't see 1,000.
Just Allo, what do we like about Tyson Williams? Listen, he showed that he can block a bit. He actually got out and showed some receiving skills. He was out there running routes, making catches. And I just like the feel that he has running the ball. I know you say you didn't see the Carolina play, but he got tripped up and he just had great awareness. He kept his body off of the ground and kind of, I don't want to say crab walk, but he kind of found his way into the end zone. Like, he's a tough runner, he's a smart runner, and he just kind of, I watch him and he just kind of has a little. It almost seems like he has it to me.
Right.
I think he's a guy who's going to come in and surprise people.
Now, hold on. I want to bring this comment up from ABC Def. He says, dude, no way Lamar's getting 1,200 yards. Lamar is not going to run that much. Lamar is going to throw way more than he has in previous years. Lamar will be around 800 rushing yards. Now, okay, ABC Def, you're saying no way. The last 2 years, maybe 3 years, Lamar's been the leading rusher for this team, and he hasn't hit 1,200 yards. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? And also, we didn't point out the fact that Gus Edwards been on this team since Lamar's gotten here, and every year they've tried to put somebody in front of Gus Edwards.
Well, Lamar did hit 1,200 one year. He hit 1,200 yards, not this past year, but the year before.
The MVP year?
Yeah, he was over 1,000 yards this past year. So again, it's not out of the question. I know they say they want him to run less, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. If they're passing more, that means less opportunities for Edwards to run. So I just don't. He's not going to get enough carries for that to happen. And 1,200 yards, that's putting him where? Like, what were the top rushers in the league last year?
That would put him in, I believe, the top 3 from last year.
So more than Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. Let's see. You had.
Well, no, I think those were the 2 who were ahead of him. Let me pull it up here.
Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Aaron Jones, James Washington, or Robinson, not James Washington, James Robinson. Is this 2020?
No, yeah. So I'm looking at it. Derrick Henry, 2,027 yards. Dalvin Cook, 1,557 yards. And then everybody else was below 1,200.
Yeah. More than Nick Chubb? Nick Chubb had 190 carries. What's up, Godson? Josh Jacobs, 273 carries. Only 1,065 yards. Yuck.
Garnett, that's what they've been doing, and he hasn't even hit 150. Like, I don't think the Ravens think he can do it. You know,
Alvin Kamara had 932 yards on 187 carries. You think he's gonna do better than Alvin Kamara? No,
I don't think the Ravens think he can be a lead back. You know, just like taking that amount of carries. I mean, he was the lead rusher in his rookie year when Lamar came in, because he played half the season. And at that point, he was over 700 yards. He was over 5 yards a carry, and they went and they signed Mark Ingram, and they gave Mark Ingram 200 carries. Mark Ingram was a little older. They went and they drafted a running back in the second round. They gave Gus Edwards again another 145 carries, I believe it was. Right. I don't think that they believe that that's the kind of runner that he is.
Right. Like, we're not just saying things, like, we're not haters here. You guys think we're hating on these players. We're not hating. This is what the coaching staff is telling you, right? There's a reason. If you think Gus Edwards is that guy, then you have to think that the J.K. Dobbins pick was a wasted pick. If you think Gus Edwards, because you're saying he's a top 5 running back. That's what you guys are saying. You're saying he's a top 5 running back. If that's the case, then we wasted a second round pick on J.K. Dobbins. Why do we do that? We drafted J.K. Dobbins. Before that, he, like you said, brought in Mark Ingram. Before that, we drafted Justice Hill. Like, why do we keep bringing in running backs if we have a top 5 running back? Because I guarantee you, if we had Derrick Henry on this team and we drafted J.K. Dobbins in a second, you guys would riot. You would riot.
They're saying Tyson Williams going to take Dobbins' spot.
Wow.
He says Tyson looks more explosive than Dobbins in his opinion. I'm not going to agree with that. I do think that Tyson, he looks good, and I think he's going to have a really good season, better than a lot of people are expecting. I'm not going to go out on that limb with you. I'm not going to say he's better than Dobbins.
I think the guy that we have on the bench that shows a little something in preseason is always the most exciting. It's always like the new shiny toy, and people always think it's going to be better than what we already have. Yeah. I think Dobbins is our best running back. Mm-hmm. But, I am excited for Tyson Williams, though. I do want to see, because from what I heard, he had a good camp last year. They really like his potential, and obviously they like him. They kept him around, and for Tyson Williams, they didn't wait to announce if he's going to make the team or anything like that. They just said, yeah, he's going to get a good amount of carries. Yeah. So.
Okay, so the other topic that we wanted to talk about real quick before we get to Shug's question about combat sports, we wanted to talk about Cam Newton getting cut from New England.
Yes,
it was the biggest surprise of the day by far. He had been operating as the starter all throughout the offseason. Even in the last preseason game, he only played a couple series and then came out, as starters do, and then they cut him. And so, people have been talking a lot about why that is. and if they made the right decision and things like that. I think that I mean, I know that the Patriots liked Cam. They liked his attitude. They liked having him there. They liked his work ethic and all that. And I had heard there was a reporter, I forget who the reporter was, but he said that behind the scenes, him being unvaccinated was kind of a problem. Like they didn't like it. And I know they're not saying that publicly, but they're not saying that publicly because they're not supposed to say that publicly, as Urban Meyer is finding out right now with the NFL investigation starting up because he decided to be honest. So yeah, I think that Cam, that they saw enough from Mac Jones to make them feel comfortable starting him, and they didn't want Cam there as the backup for a couple of reasons. I think that if your backup is unvaccinated, that's not a great thing. Like if Mac gets infected, then you just don't have a quarterback because Cam's going to be a close contact there and he won't be able to play. Yeah. The other thing, obviously, Cam is a big name, a big personality, and I think they probably just didn't want people talking about Cam all year long.
Yeah. Real quick, shout out to Alex Stark. He said, "What's going on, guys? Panthers fan here that recently subscribed. Thank you, sir. I first saw you guys on PNP. That's Panthers Nation podcast with Shad and Dave. And shout out to those guys, man. If you are a Panthers fan, make sure you subscribe to them. We get a lot of info from their channel because Rashad covers everything Panthers. He said, yes, love the content. Stay blessed. Thank you. # keep pounding. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. Salute to you. And King of Pugo, I saw your comment too. You mentioned Chubb and they brought in Kareem Hunt. They didn't spend a second round pick on Kareem Hunt, dude.
No, they got Kareem Hunt for nothing.
For nothing. But yes, so Cam Newton, man. Me and B are huge Cam Newton fans. We are huge Cam Newton fans, and this was the year he needed this year, man. I felt it. I really do believe the Patriots were all in on Cam Newton. They made all these moves. They brought him back on a $14 million deal. And I think they truly believe, no, he's going to blow up this year. We're going to have a great year with Cam. And from what I understand, from what we've heard, he won the battle. I know it's been kind of spun as Mac Jones won the battle. He didn't win it. It was Cam's job, but it was just he was close enough to where, hey, Cam, you're not vaccinated. We had a little thing about a week ago where, it wasn't a big deal now, but, that could be an issue. Right. Okay, King of People. We're going to talk about that, too, because I tweeted out Ron Rivera, it's time to call in that favor to Ron Rivera because Cam made Ron Rivera's career. Right. Yeah. He said his job over and over and over and over again. Okay. And I've said it before. I said it before that if Ron Rivera didn't bring in Cam, he's a dirtbag. But I gotta take it back. Right? Because look, Washington football team, they don't have any good quarterbacks on the team. Sorry. There isn't a single good quarterback on the team. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a good quarterback. He's entertaining. Yes. I like the guy. He's got a great personality. But you're talking about a guy who's been a journeyman. Everywhere he's gone, all he's done was lose. That's it. And lose his starting job. Kyle Allen.
You're not saying anything about Kyle Allen. Taylor Heineke. Also the hottest of garbage. A couple of guys who came from Carolina. But Cam, if he's not willing to get vaccinated, I can't blame Ron for not.
Exactly. That's why I got to take it back. I got to take back what I said because he's a cancer survivor. And he's already fighting an uphill battle with some of these guys on his team that don't want to get vaccinated. That's already a problem. And bringing Cam in, and Cam, if he's defiant on that, man, like I can't blame Ron Rivera for not wanting to go that route. Yeah. Which, going back to Cam, man, like we've had this discussion with you guys before about vaccines, right? And I know you guys are kind of split on that. But our thing is this. These NFL teams are looking at it as an injury, right? You're injury prone if you're not vaccinated. So it doesn't matter how you feel about the vaccine. These are how these teams are looking at it. And Cam Newton is a perfect example of what's going on. Denzel Perryman over in Carolina is a perfect example of what's going on because he's another one I think he would have made the team if he had gotten vaccinated. But he didn't. He wasn't good enough to just be out there unvaccinated and not worried about his spot. He's too close to the other guys who were vaccinated. So they said, we don't need to deal with you. So
You know,
Yeah.
ABC. I'm gonna disagree with there, man. He was the coach in Carolina for a long time. I don't think he's a great coach, but I do think that he does come across as a great guy and a genuine guy. And the players that play for him, they absolutely love Ron.
I
So
think,
I'm not going to
yeah.
call him fake. I think he's legit a good guy, just not a great head coach.
Yeah, and you say he should have been picked up Cam. I thought that at first too, but it seemed like Cam's relationship with Bill Belichick was genuine. They brought him in, and even
Mhm.
though he had a bad year last year, he had a bad year. I mean, it's for multiple reasons. Bill Belichick never wavered off of him. There was never a point where there's any criticism of him. There wasn't any rumor of him getting benched or cut or anything like that. And they came right back and re-signed him again this year. They showed all the faith, and they went out and got him a bunch of weapons in the offseason, right? And got him some protection. So they were all in on Cam. And I feel like the relationship was going well over there. And it's just that thing with, hey, you got to get vaxxed, man. Like, you got to get vaxxed, and if Mac Jones didn't have a good offseason or good preseason, maybe they would have kept him around, but they want their guys. Like, they run a tight ship over there, and they don't want anybody missing time over anything.
Yeah. And again, he had an issue where he missed 5 days recently, and I think that may have kind of been the nail in his coffin there.
So the question is, what's next for him, man? I really hope he does get the vaccine, because for him, like, even vaccinated is going to be hard for him, because there's this image of Cam as being like a problem.
Yeah, there's this perception out there that Cam is black.
Yeah. Yes.
Unfortunately for him, it's true. And
I forget the guy's name that I responded to that tweeted out, "Oh, well, he would be a good fit in Baltimore as long as he wouldn't as long as he doesn't create any drama." And I responded to him, much as like, what kind of drama are we talking about? Because Cam's never been a problem anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. His teammates have nothing. None of his teammates have had anything bad to say about him except for Kelvin Benjamin. And Kelvin Benjamin, he's had some issues. Okay.
I don't want to talk bad about Kelvin Benjamin, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of that had to do with him losing his mom.
Yes.
He was very young and immature and everything. So I really hope that Kelvin gets himself turned around, and even there's still time to get back into the league if he really wants it.
Yeah.
But no, by and large, teammates love Cam.
Yeah.
Love him.
So for him to say, "Oh, well, as long as he comes in with no drama," like, me and B, look, we're older. We pick up on all the dog whistles. We know exactly what you're talking about, my man. We know exactly what you mean, right? It has nothing to do with his attitude. It has to do with, his hair looks kind of wild. He dresses kind of, funny. He talks a little different. I don't know if we want that in our locker room. That's what he's trying to say, right? And we're not having that.
Right, Derek. Yeah, Belichick has loved Cam for the entirety of his career.
Yeah.
JP saying Cam would never choose to be a backup. That's another thing that's out there that is, frankly, unsubstantiated, right? Like, when he signed in New England, he did not sign as the starter.
No,
they did not promise him a starting job. He went and he signed, and he competed for the starting job. He won the starting job. So the idea that he would never sign somewhere to be the backup is just kind of like,
it's made up.
It's people's perception of him. They think he's very egotistical. They think he's a problem, and he's never actually been that. But that's always been kind of the media narrative on him, even before he got into the NFL.
And shout out to you, Jake Paul. We're gonna be talking about you in a second.
Yeah, Ferris. I know it's a shocker. It's a shocker.
Yeah. All right, we're getting close to bonus time, but we'll do this Jake Paul talk, and then we'll do bonus time. You're getting a little extra on the show today. All right. Okay. Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley had a match, an exhibition, if you will, over the weekend. Now, I know you guys thought you were going to see a real fight, but if you've been watching the LBHT show on a regular, you would have known that no, it wasn't a real fight. I told you guys over and over again, Tyron Woodley was paid to take a dive. Now, he didn't go out like Ben Askren did. He didn't go out like Nate Robinson did, but he was going to lose. It was always going to be that way because it's all for show, right? These guys aren't serious boxers, but I told you, like, don't expect Tyron Woodley to go out there and murder this guy. This man is going to pay him more than he's ever made fighting in the UFC. And before we really break down the fight and answer Sugar's question, I really do want to give props to Jake Paul straight up, because Jake Paul has been an advocate for UFC fighters for a while. He's been advocating for them to make more money because Dana White doesn't pay his fighters well. We just talked about Jerry Cannonier after his big win, saying, "Look, I'm broke. I need to keep fighting." Right. So Jake Paul has been putting that pressure on Dana White to pay his fighters more. And for this event, he came out and said, "Look, I'm going to make sure I'll take less out of my pay to make sure everybody on the card has a record payday." So that's very commendable. So shout out to you, Jake Paul, for that, man.
Yes, absolutely. And as far as the fight itself, it was a much more entertaining fight than Ben Askren, obviously. Than his previous fights. But Tyron Woodley, and he kind of showed the same thing that he showed in his last 4 fights or so, where he just wouldn't let his hands go. Even at one point, he hurt Paul and knocked him into the ropes. Paul would have been down if not for the ropes, and he just, he didn't really go after him after that. But it's neither here nor there. It's whatever. It's an exhibition. It's fine. Just go have fun. Put on a little show and everything. The problem that I have with it is the way that the announcers and the media talk about him like he's a real boxer. Because not only is he not fighting, excuse me, any real boxers, he's fighting washed up MMA fighters, and on top of that, he's fighting guys who aren't even in his weight class. Like, and he's yet to fight somebody who's even as big as him.
And guys who had their debut boxing, right? That was Ben Askren's debut boxing. That was, Nate Robinson wasn't a boxer. That's his debut match. And this was Tyron Woodley's debut boxing. Now, Tyron Woodley has more skill than all of them, right? Tyron Woodley was one of the best welterweight fighters in UFC history, and he's had some good skills with his hands, so that translated well. And yes, I think if it was a real fight, he could have easily taken out Jake Paul. But the one meme that everybody shows out there when he knocked Jake Paul almost through the ropes, right? I think that's why you saw Tyron Woodley hold back as much as he did, to make sure he doesn't knock him out by accident. So how big is Jake? He's not small.
He's about 190, I believe. And so the guys, obviously in the actual fights, they're pretty close in weight, but they fought lighter than that. Ben Askren didn't even bother to work out to get up to that weight. He just ate. Tyron Woodley obviously stayed in shape, and so he looked good going in there. But he's fighting guys who are smaller. You see a lot of people here calling it fake and fixed and staged and all this stuff. What's going on, Andre Mears?
What's up, man?
And that's one of the things, and we've said before, Ben Askren took a dive and all this stuff, and that's, you got to be careful throwing that around, right? Like, it's not fixed.
No.
Thank you. They're getting paid and they're not trying, but it's not staged, right? Because that's a whole other thing, and it opens them up to a lot of legal exposure if it's staged, because people are betting on these fights and everything,
right?
So they're actually fighting, but the guys just aren't going 100%. It's like Mayweather and Conor McGregor, except Mayweather and Conor McGregor told you what it was straight up, before you even go into it, right?
Yeah. Like Spirit of Justice, shout out to you, Spirit of Justice. Thanks for coming through. Tyron had him hurt and just stayed at him. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what makes it believable is if you watch Woodley's last 4 or 5 fights. Well, the last fight in UFC, he did try to go hard. He got knocked out. Yeah. But he's been very timid in his fights. Like, he doesn't want to go in for the kill. And he's just been getting beat. And everybody's just kind of scratching their head like, yo, why aren't you? What's up with you? Like, you can't. You're not letting your hands loose anymore. So it looked very similar to that in the boxing match. But yes, he could have put down Jake Paul easily if he wanted to.
He says point shaving is still point shaving.
It is.
There's a very fine line between saying, hey, I'm losing on purpose, and I'm just not going 100%, because people don't go 100% in sports all the time. Yeah. And it's not that they're trying to lose, they're just not going 100%.
Yeah. That's a good point. Now, to answer your question, Shug, we finally get into your question. Is fair. Kamaru took that man's soul. Yes, that was downhill for him, man.
And that's Kamaru, okay, because it made Kamaru stronger.
Yeah. Kamaru Usman, like he's taking everybody's souls, man. Like what's that guy from Mortal Kombat?
I was gonna say Shang Tsung. I don't know if that's his name.
I forget his name. Yeah, that's Usman, man. Like he's just taking everybody out.
Made Masvidal a G-rated family man.
You saw Masvidal's soul leave his body. Now, Suge wants to know, and shout out to Suge and Watt Real Entertainment. They have a sports show every Tuesday night, and Suge was on it last night. Brandon Buck, that was in here earlier, he's on that show as well. They asked the question, are fights like this hurting boxing? Is boxing dead? No, boxing is not dead. And because boxing is doing so well, you're able to have fights like this, Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung. Yeah.
Right. So, Randy obviously didn't go all out in Oakland. Right.
He sure didn't. So no, boxing is just fine, man. Like there've always been sideshow fights, man. Like that's always been a thing. It's just that with YouTube making so many. Don C, what's going on, man? Appreciate you coming through. What's up, Don C?
What's going on, Don?
Yeah. YouTube has made a lot of people popular. And you didn't have that back in the day. Social media, makes a lot. There's a lot of social media stars out there that weren't there back in the day. So it's more out there. But you've always had celebrity matches. Like how many of you guys know that Holyfield and what was that guy that ran for president's name? The guy for Bain Capital.
I do not remember.
I forget his name. I forget, but yeah, they had a celebrity boxing match, right? Nobody remembers that, but yeah, there's always been there. So no, it's not a big deal. Boxing's fine. I mean, we have some big heavyweight matches coming up. Fair said, y'all remember Alzado fought Muhammad Ali? Yep. So I mean, that's always been a thing. So, but if you want to see some real boxing, it's out there, man. You have Fury, Mitt Romney, yes, Mitt Romney and Holyfield. They had a like a charity match, right? Those fights happen all the time. But you got Wilder and Fury 3 coming up. That's huge. You got Joshua and a guy Usyk coming up here soon. That's big. We were supposed to have Pacquiao and Errol Spence, but Errol Spence had an injury to his eye. That was going to be a huge fight, but Pacquiao's still out there. He's boxing, man. Yeah, Mikey, I know you love boxing, and the next match we might pull you on there for our live stream for the Usyk fight. But there's a lot of quality boxing out there. Just because you don't see it on ESPN as often as you used to doesn't mean it's not out there. Boxing is big around the world.
And the other part of it too is the heavyweight division is kind of the glamour division that everybody looks to, and it's not good. The heavyweight division is not good.
Right.
But there is a ton of young talent in the lighter weights, and we're just kind of waiting on them to develop a bit and start fighting each other.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're going to see a ton of big time fights.
So yeah, if you don't follow boxing, you just want to know who to watch. Gervonta Davis. I mean, that's a hometown guy. He's from Baltimore. Gervonta Davis is somebody to watch. Teofimo Lopez. He just beat
Shakur Stevenson's coming up as well.
Yeah. But Teofimo just beat Lomachenko, who a lot of people were trying to call a pound for pound best, but I called fraud on that from early on. But Stevenson, Herring. There's a lot of young fighters at those smaller weight divisions that are really good, and what they're doing right now is just taking the time building their name up. So just be patient. You can follow them, you can watch them. They're out there. Boxers today don't promote themselves well enough. I think they do. It's just anybody can promote themselves now, all right? And look. So here's the thing. There is way more out there for you guys to consume now. Mm-hmm. There's way more things for you guys to consume. YouTube wasn't around when Tyson, Holyfield, Lance Lewis, and all those guys were out there. There was no such thing as YouTube. There's no such thing as social media. There wasn't even MySpace. Yeah. Okay. So there's all these things. We got Netflix, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. Like there's so many things that draw your attention. You only have so much time in the day. You got to work or go to school or whatever. You come home, you do what you need to do at home, and what you choose for your entertainment. You guys aren't even watching ESPN anymore.
Well,
right?
and that's a great point there as well, because back then you couldn't engage in entertainment and not know what was going on, right? Not know things that were coming up. Right now, you can watch all the entertainment that you want. You can watch all the movies, all the TV shows that you want, and never even hear a single word about upcoming events.
Right.
Netflix isn't going to tell you that Errol Spence is fighting next week. HBO Max isn't going to tell you about the next Canelo fight. So if you're just not looking for it, it's very, very, very easy to miss that stuff. So to your point, it's harder, I think, for fighters to promote themselves, and also, that's a skill, right? And not everybody has it. Conor McGregor has it. He's one of the best in the world at it. And you notice he's the only megastar in MMA, right? Because they can't really promote anybody else. I think Israel Adesanya is also very good at it. He's not as big as Conor, but he's a big star. But that's a difficult thing for people to do. Because a lot of people just don't want to put themselves out there like that. And even if they are willing to do it, they're not necessarily going to be engaging.
Yeah. Now you want to talk about something that's going to be hurting them, hurting pretty soon. That's going to be UFC. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not a fan of Dana White at all. Me and B don't like Dana White at all, but we love UFC. Like we love it. Ferris loves UFC. Suge loves UFC. Shout out to our man Sutton from Purple Rain Podcast. He loves UFC. All right. But it's not run well. It's popular, right? And it's easy to put knockouts, on social media, and we can follow it to a certain extent. But there are, you said what, Brodny, Jones, Nunes, disagree?
Sure. Those fighters, John Jones, Amanda Nunes, they do not do numbers. People do not know who they are outside of MMA fans.
Jones does a little bit. He moves the needle a little bit.
Jones has never even had a $1 million selling fight.
No, but in today's combat sports, if you're doing over 500,000, like, you're doing pretty well.
Well, yeah, but that's because they don't have any mega stars. Conor McGregor is over $1 million guaranteed every single time he goes out. But Floyd Mayweather is doing several million every single time he goes out.
I'm not saying yes. Those guys, they transcend the sport. They transcend the sport,
and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But there's nobody else like that in MMA. There are very few like that in boxing. Manny's like that. Floyd's like that. Canelo, I think, to an extent, is like that.
Yes.
But that's it, because it's a very difficult thing to achieve.
Maybe Anthony Joshua.
Maybe
Joshua's a lot bigger than we realize, because he's from the UK.
He's in the UK.
Yeah.
But that's just it's a very difficult thing to achieve. Amanda Nunes, amazing fighter. John Jones, one of the best ever. But they're not doing those kind of numbers.
Those are two fights that I love, man. I think Amanda Nunes is one of the greatest fighters ever, male or female. Like, that's one of my favorite fighters, man.
Boxing has bigger stars than MMA, man.
I mean, we can look at the numbers. I mean, if you pull up the top selling pay-per-views, the only person that's going to be up there from UFC, well, there'll be two people. There'll be GSP and there'll be Conor, right? GSP has been retired. Conor is on his way out. And after Conor, and that's why I say UFC is going to be hurting here pretty soon. What's up, Shaheen? That's why I say UFC is going to be hurting here pretty soon, because Conor is, I mean, he does it just for a hobby now. Like, he's not fighting for anything. So he's going to be gone. He might do 2 more fights. That's pretty much it for Conor. After Conor, John Jones is already one foot out the door, right? He wants to do 1 more fight pretty much, and that's it. Cormier is retired. Nunes has nobody out there that can beat her. She's going to retire. I think she's going to do 2 more fights. Kamaru Usman already said he wants to do 2 or 3 more fights and then retire. He's lapping people. He's not lying about that. He's beaten the same people twice.
King says Nunes has to move to the men's division.
I'm telling you, man. She is a straight up beast. But
this is a good point. Oh, not Ferris. Ferris don't make good points. I'm joking, Ferris. I'm joking. Adrian Broner could have been big if he didn't lose so much. Jay Will, that man still makes over $1 million a fight.
Yes,
because it's a bigger thing, and I absolutely agree with you. Like,
I agree with you.
If he had his head on straight, it'd be fine. But it is what it is.
Yeah, but what I was saying, UFC they're losing these guys. hold on a second. USC is about to lose these guys, and what's next? What's next for them? Because their pay-per-view numbers, we only hear about the numbers that do well, right? But try to find the gaps when they show USC 263 did a million pay-per-view buys, and then next thing you know, you don't see pay-per-view numbers until USC 265. What happened to the ones in between? They're not going to show you that because they didn't do well, right? This last one with Derek Lewis, go ahead and try to find those numbers. You ain't gonna find them, right? But they don't have any stars. Like the superstars are on the way out. I mean, well, superstar. We're talking about Conor McGregor at this point, and they don't do a good job running. Well, I say Dana White doesn't do a good job running that organization. He did a good job getting it to the point where it's at now. You have a huge deal with USC. You've gotten some major sponsorships, and it looks good on paper. But you're not paying your fighters. You have more and more fighters saying, "I'm not being paid. I can't even afford to take the fight sometimes. I don't have health coverage." Like you gotta be broke to fight and host to be that top guy. That's not sustainable. It looks good right now, but it's not sustainable. I think at some point soon. There's other options. You got fighters that can go fight with Jake Paul now. You have PFL. ESPN has a PFL league where the winner wins $1 million. You have Bellator. You have all these other leagues where fighters can go. And it only takes just a couple of top fighters to say, "I don't want to fight in the UFC. I'll go over here."
Yeah, and
that's it. That's a wrap.
And Shug makes a good point. We do need to wrap up, and we'll take it over to the overtime and continue that conversation.
Yes. Look, I'll give you guys 3 minutes. 3 minutes because I didn't give you guys a chance to ask any questions. So bonus time for 3 minutes. If you have any things you want to put in there real quick, we'll do that. And then yes, look. What we're talking about right now, it's going to get turned up a notch in the overtime show. And if you want to be a part of the overtime show, right above me, patreon.com/LBHT Show. Okay, go ahead and sign up there. We do it right after the main show every Wednesday. It starts at 7 p.m. And once again, if you guys are new, anybody's in here that's new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 1,000 subscribers. What we got here? Spirit of Justice says, "Don't forget the GOAT, CM Punk, just retired." Did he retire? I think he just joined that AEW.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch AEW, so I don't know what he did over there. But
yeah. Tony says, "What's my belt doing? Where's she at?" Boy, you guys love that belt. Next show. Remind us, follow us at LBHT Show. Okay, send us a tweet or a DM or something and say, "Hey, don't forget next Wednesday you guys show us the belt." All right, we'll show you guys that belt. It is nice.
You need to enjoy every moment Lamar plays for the Ravens to offset the terrible years of Kyle Bowler.
Boy, Kyle Bowler. You see Kyle Bowler's wife the other day?
No.
At some rally or something, talking about my kids will not wear masks. We are not getting vaccinated. We're gonna go wherever we want to go.
Okay then.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Kyle Bowler and his kids going to get you sick.
Oh, retire from the UFC. Yeah.
Yeah. We know.
And you also do live stream for the Ravens games. We'll see what that's. We're taking it under advisement. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. So, all right. Bellator and Pride more exciting than UFC. I'm gonna be honest. Pride was huge. I mean, that was before like UFC really got up and running. Pride was it. But Bellator, I don't watch that much Bellator. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Yeah, it's because they got the senior tour in Bellator.
Yeah, they do.
So we're about to get out of here. Just want to remind you guys again. Our guy Deshaun wrote an article for our website, lbhtshow.com, discussing the Ravens backfield, their running back situation, and what he sees as their options moving forward, and what he thinks they should do. So definitely go ahead and check that out. Read it, leave a comment, and everything, and let us know what you think.
All right, guys, that's it. Have a great night. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.